Okay. Good morning, everyone, and thank you so much for joining us on this edition of this webinar. Like Modupe said, this the fourth edition, and we trust it's going to be an interesting time. We look forward to having DDK. Okay, but a brief background about the foundation. Of course, I hope you watched that video. If you didn't watch that video, I want to encourage you to please visit our website, siafdn.org, www.siafdn.org, to learn more about the SI Foundation. SI Foundation came up on my 40th birthday, and basically it's our way of saying we need to give back to the society. Basically, there's so much good that can be done. There's so much impact my family feel we can make in the world. And of course, we have basically four areas of our impact. We have entrepreneurial development, we have women economic empowerment, we have education, and then we have creating an empathetic work environment. These critical four areas are being worked on as a foundation. And of course, we also want to use this opportunity to quickly thank our partners. It's just about 1 year the foundation started, but we've been able to make some impact. We've been able to make so much impact. Yes, and of course, we had our first cohort of the Startup Foundry about 2 weeks ago. We had an alumni event where I was listening to the 40 businesses we actually coached and took through a training program, and the feedback was just amazing. We've been able to also kick off our Empower Together, where we've been able to identify schools in our local community where we could make a lot of impact, talk to them, give scholarships, look for people who are maybe financially disadvantaged, who can pay their fees, and ensure we support them, ensure that they can achieve their dreams. Because there are a number of other things we're working on. Empowering the women, it's critical. And we have a number of programs in that area also, and then building an empathetic work environment. So today, we're getting to the end of the year, and a lot of people are planning towards next year. I we believe that this webinar is coming quite timely, becoming the sea of your life. There's so much going on in our world right now. And in fact, there's also so much going on in our country that we feel like people need to still take the reign of their life. People need to understand that they had the sea of their life. They can determine their future. Their destinies are in their hands, not in the hands of another person. And what are the critical skills? What are the things you need to do so that you can take charge of your life? I'm sure so excited to have DDK. DDK has been a friend of maybe 25 years, maybe 20, more than 20 years. And I'm sure today would be great to listen to probably chipping one or two things. Budupa, is DDK in the room now? Okay, so I think we just welcome with me Debola Deji Kurunmi, takes us on today's webinar. Welcome, DDK.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm delighted to be here, and great congratulations to SI Foundation on the giant strides that you are making and the commitment that you indeed have to make significant contributions to the world through the key pillars of impact that you are positioning the foundation for. I'm excited to be here, and I congratulate every participant who is taking our time today to just leaning into this insights that we're going to be exploring together. I feel like the topic that has been selected for this webinar is a really remarkable one, because any time in our lives when we really start to say there's got to be more, and I want to see better days, we're instantaneously also saying to ourselves or asking ourselves the question, what is it going to take for me to step into the driver's seat of my life in that sense and start to mobilize myself as an asset to be able to achieve my highest outcomes and the kind of success that I prefer to create. The moment you begin to consider yourself as capable of shifting into preferred outcomes and as capable of creating new possibilities in your life, you naturally will find yourself overcoming the sense of helplessness that often grips the majority. And so I feel like today's topic, today's conversation is an extremely important one because it challenges you to stop the blame trading and to really start to make new choices that are based on the factor of responsibility, sense of responsibility. And the insights I'm going to show you today is they're actually drawn from years of data. I've led a coaching practice in the course of the last 10 years. Actually, we celebrated our 10th year anniversary in September. And in those 10 years, we have built a global coaching community of more than 75,000 learners who live in more than 110 countries of the world. And the conversation I want to have with you today has been drawn from data that is pulled from, young, passionate people who have been a part of our global coaching community and using the insights from working with them to understand the top life limitations that many people grapple with. And if you don't overcome these limitations, you find that you are never fully able to step into the possibilities that you desire, and you're never fully able to unlock and maximize your potential. So in the course of the conversation today, you would find me highlighting some of these life limitations that until you start to doggedly work against and doggedly overcome, you will never be able to step into the CEO seat of your life. Okay. So 100%, I'm trusting that between the things I will share with you and the questions that I might get to answer, you're going to go out of today's webinar being clear about what could be holding you back and the steps that you can begin to take to shift your possibilities, shift your outcomes, and step into 2025 with a new level of vision, a new level of responsibility, a new level of strength that would help you achieve your goals for 2025. Okay? I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. And please let me know in the comment section if you are able to see my screen this morning. Let me know if you can see my screen.
It's visible.
Fantastic. Okay. So we're getting on into this conversation around what it takes to be the CEO of your own life, right? What it takes to be the chief executive. And I have said to you that I'm pulling out of a data-driven conversation for you today. As a coach in the course of the last decade, what have we found to be the most limiting situations and limiting mindsets that stand in the way of people from being able to take charge of their lives and make the kind of progress that they ought to make? I sometimes approach the conversation of life success from what you have to start doing, and I sometimes approach the conversation of life success from what you have to stop doing. And today you'd find me really laying a foundation primarily around what you have to stop doing if you want to create the kind of life you desire and you want to achieve the kind of success that you really desire, especially going forward into 2025. Okay, so we're going to kickstart the conversation just by opening up with some quotes. And I feel like these quotes will themselves already begin to give you some answers, and they will already begin to give you some valuable thoughts, that can open up your mind to possibilities. Okay, so let's start off with this one by Brendan Burchard. Brendan Burchard says, no matter your position, circumstances, opportunities in life, you always have the freedom of mind to choose how you experience, interpret, and ultimately shape your world. This is remarkable. No matter your position, no matter your circumstances, no matter your opportunities in life, you always have the freedom of mind. That is why you are this webinar. And for those of you who are still going to watch the replay, that is why you're interacting with this resource. You always have the freedom of mind to choose how you will interpret, experience, and shape your world. You can shape your world. You can shape your world. And this is not some nice sounding motivational speaking. I have interacted with people who were at the base of the pyramid for many, many years in their lives. And they started to use our coaching. They started to use our personal development materials. They started to use our books, and they shaped and reshaped their own world. And you can do the same. So no matter where you are today, no matter what experiences you have in your life today, you have to keep in mind that you can actually reshape your own world. And look at this by Peter Senge. He says the gap between vision and current reality is also a source of energy. What this really means is you don't have to feel so stuck with where you are and so upset with what is not working. What you have to reckon is that the gap you have between what you desire and what you are currently experiencing can give you a creative tension. You need that energy to actually move forward. So instead of crying about what is not working in your life, you ought to start to ask yourself, how can I use this energy that has been created between the gap, or created by the gap between my vision and my reality? How can I use it to move my life forward? Some of you have to be angry enough. That is an energy. You've got to be frustrated enough. That is an energy, right? That you can then use to move your life forward into a whole new level of success, a whole new level of education, a whole new level of opportunity. Look at this next one. Orison Marding says, we lift ourselves by our thought. We lift ourselves, we climb upon our vision of ourselves. So if you want to enlarge your life, you have to first enlarge your thought of it and of yourself. What is this quote speaking to us about? Every kind of success is first shaped by a new sense of identity. Every kind of success is first shaped by a new vision of yourself. So you have to ask yourself today, what kind of story am I telling myself about myself? What kind of story am I telling myself about myself? Right? What do I believe about myself? You are on this webinar, but do you believe that you can be CEO of your life? Do you believe that you can take charge? Do you believe that you can make new decisions? Do you believe that better days are ahead of you? Do you believe that you can work hard, gain the education you need, shift from your mindset to be able to enter into the possibilities that you really desire for your life and your future? Right? Look at this one. It says, you want to set a goal that is big enough that in the process of achieving that goal, you become someone worth becoming. This is one of my favorite quotes. That as you pursue your goals for 2025, make sure they are not just goals about what you can do, goals about projects you can achieve, goals about money you want to make. Let it also be a goal so powerful that as you achieve that goal, you become a better person. You become a person worth becoming. This is so good. And look at this one by Gad Saad. It says, memorable people do memorable things. Followers are seldom remembered. The herd mentality is a killer of innovation. When appropriate, be bold in your undertakings. The things I'm going to be challenging you to give up on will require a certain boldness, will require a certain courage for you to change your own life and stop repeating your negative patterns. Look at this one by Eva Moskowitz. It says, excellence is the accumulation of hundreds of minute decisions. It is execution at the most granular level. Once you accept the idea that you should give to things that make no sense because other people do those things and you want to appear reasonable, you are on a path towards mediocrity. My God. This one is powerful. It said the moment you agree that you should do things just because it makes other people happy or you want to be accepted, let us all just be doing it together, you are on your path to mediocrity. Excellence is not in the big things only. It is in your daily choices. You want to be CEO of your life? When do you wake up? When do you go to bed? How many hours are you on Instagram? How do you manage your time? How do you manage your resources? How do you spend? How do you save? How do you manage relationships? Excellence is the accumulation of hundreds of minute decisions, little decisions, all coming together to shape your life into excellence. It's really powerful, right? Another one by Brendan Burchard, and it's my all-time favorite. It says there comes a time in the lives of those destined for greatness when we must stand before the mirror of meaning and ask, why, having been endowed with the courageous heart of a lion, do we live as mice? And this quote is really sobering because what it's saying to you is that you have to come to a place in your life where your potential begins to match your purpose, begins to match your power. If you have the heart of a lion, why are you living like a mere rat? Why? That day must come where you begin to aspire to more because you know that you have more. You start to aspire to more because you know you are capable of more. You start to aspire to more because you know that God has given you so much more. And I have found this to be the story of my own life. The reason I have moved forward into, the kind of results I've created. I've spoken to you about the work we've done with our coaching community. We're leading a premier coaching community out of Africa to the world, right? We've worked in executive coaching opportunities with some of the most iconic brands, not just in Africa, but globally. We've had tours of our coaching retreats in the US, in the UK, in Marrakesh, in Seychelles, in Dubai, right? Different parts of the world, reaching a community that is truly global. I've written 26 books. I've spoken on global platforms across 4 continents, and I have just turned 40, right? I built a 7-figure, multi-million-dollar business. Now, what have I found on my own journey as a young person? I find that every time I look at my potential and what God has put in me, every time I look at who I can become that I have not yet manifested, it inspires me to take the next big leap and not to rest on my oars, right? These are the kind of thoughts that every young person has to embrace if we're going to go far. Brendan says, you have a clean slate every day you wake up. You have a chance every single morning to make that change. And that is the change we want to talk about shortly. To make that change and to be the person you want to be. You just have to decide to do it. Decide today's the day. Say it. This is going to be my day. And I want you to put it in the chats right where you are as an attendee in this conference today. This is going to be my day. Put it in your journal. Say it out to yourself. This is going to be my day. This is going to be the beginning of great days in my life. I'm going to make important choices to really make a change. And you can set that intention to live your life as the greatest person you can be in all situations. This is going to be my day. I love that. Thank you, Tolu Taiwo Mercy. It said, demand that you demonstrate a strength of character in such a way that you find pride in who you are and that others see you as a role model, right? So before we jump into the conversation today, I want to ask you to tell me the quote that resonated the most with you. What quote have you heard me talk about today? And you are saying, DDK, this one is blowing my mind. Which of these quotes really spoke to you and got you really thinking about where you want to go from here and what you want to do differently? Talk to me. Put it in the chat for me. A quote that really resonated with where you are and what you needed to hear today, right? Which is it for you? I already told you. I love it. Tolu says you always have that freedom of mind to choose. You can choose who you want to be. You can choose where you want to go. You can choose how you interpret the world. You can choose how you shape your world. You can always make that choice. Thank you, Tolu. Temitope says the one that speaks about excellence being in the minute things. I love it. Excellence is an accumulation of hundreds of minute decisions. So good. And this one by Oluwaseun says, this one about lifting ourselves through our thoughts is really good. We climb on our own vision of ourselves. Memorable people do memorable things. Thank you, Nelly. Excellence is the accumulation of small intentional decisions. Shola says, the one that says, I can become someone worth becoming on my journey. I'm telling you, it's so powerful. I love it too. Jim Rohn says, you've got to set a goal so big that in the process of achieving it, you become someone worth becoming. Damilola says, memorable people do memorable things. Tumishe says, you can decide today that it's going to be the beginning of great things in your life. Olaoluwa says, you have that freedom of mind. And Matthew talks about how we need that gap. If there were no gap, there would be no need for any action to move toward the vision. So the discouragement of not being where you want to be can now become your creative energy to move forward. I love how you're highlighting the quotes that resonated the most with you. Really, really lovely. And what we want to do today is we want to step into the conversation around the top life and leadership limitations that I have found in the course of my work stand in the way of people being able to take the seat of ownership in their lives. When we talk about being the CEO of your life, I have tried to define that concept through the quotes that we have just read or looked at together. To be the CEO of your life is to be in charge of the decision to succeed. To be the CEO of your life is to be in charge of the commitment to win. To be the CEO of your life is to convert your frustrations to a source of energy that moves you forward toward your vision. To be the CEO of your life is to choose how you are going to interpret and shape your world. To be the CEO of your life is to make little decisions every day that accumulate over time and make you into a person of excellence. To be the CEO of your life is to match your purpose or to match your potential with purpose, to live as a lion and not as a mice. Do you see this? So it becomes extremely important for you to understand that the decision to take ownership of your life, the decision that can change your life forever, is a decision that can move you forward into possibilities that you don't even have a reference point for. Let me tell you something. Many people talk about the power of mentorship, and I love the role of mentors and the role of forerunners who have gone ahead of us. But even if you have a mentor, but you don't have self-respect for yourself, you are not going to be able to do so much with the mentorship access you have, right? There's a role of mentors, and then there's your own role to shape your life, to shape your own possibilities, to stop giving excuses. And in these 10 years of coaching people, I have seen people win and I have seen people fail. I've seen people start and complete projects. I've seen people start and abandon projects. I've also seen people who talk but never start anything meaningful. I have seen people be part of our community for many years, yet they had no real change. And some people came for a fewer number of years and they transformed their reality. I've seen people go from small to global. I've seen people start off with tens of thousands and move into hundreds of thousands of dollars, right? So who do you want to be? And in these years, I have highlighted in a data-driven manner the top 10 limitations that I find people facing that can never allow them to really achieve highest levels of success, except they take care of those issues. And that's what I want to show you. If you're saying to me that you are in here today with us because you really want to be the CEO of your own life, then these are limitations you have to start to work on. You have to create a plan to overcome. Some will resonate with you because you have work to do in that area. Some you will feel like, DDK, I've achieved success here. This doesn't stress me that much, right? But you will find one or two things today that you can take out and make your action plan. And the moment you start to work on these limitations, you see yourself shifting into success, right? I don't want to talk to you about goal setting and vision and building the right relationships and leveraging your talents and your gifts. You know what to do, but you may not know what is standing in your way. And so as I thought about this webinar again and again, I hit this sweet spot where I said to myself, this is an important conversation I must have. The things that can stand in your way and are standing in your way that you may not know. And until you make a new determination to work on these weaknesses, you may not be able to move forward into the kind of success you desire. So let me know in the chat if you're ready. You have to say to me, DDK, I'm ready for this conversation. I want to know what the limitations are because I mean business, being on the CEO seat of my own life. I need to see your readiness in the chats because that is what is going to prime me to go into the conversation. Okay. Vivian Temitope Hawa, Tumishe Tolu, Matthew Kikelomo, Abidemi Itoro, Solomon, they say they are ready. Okay. So let's jump right into this matter. I want to be CEO of my life, and I'm ready to break every limitation that stands in the way of true success, right? Remember that this isn't Googled up stuff. Remember, you're likely not to even find these things this way that I will show you on any platform because they are original answers that we discovered working with people for many years and seeing those that coaching will favor and those that coaching will not favor. Okay, so let's see how much grounds we can cover. And if we don't get on to all the 10, for all of you who are registered, I'm going to share with you a video where you can, a course video where you can interact with all 10, right? I might show you all 10 and focus on breaking down some of them more than the others. I might show you just a certain number, but 100% you're going to find where you are and you're going to be able to set up an action plan for yourself for how you want to break these limitations so that you can move your life forward. Let's start off with the first limitation that I really see standing in the way of many people and holding them back from being able to take charge of their lives: weak self-image. A weak self-image is a distortion of your identity, a distortion of your self-perception, a distortion of how you see yourself and how you perceive yourself. A weak self-image is when you carry a conviction that you're not good enough, that you don't have what it takes, that you're too small, that you're not as smart, that you come from a poor background, that you don't have enough connections, that the academic background you have cannot open the kind of doors you desire into your industry, that you don't have any gift or any talent and you don't speak well. It's when you fixate on your weaknesses and you fixate on your seeming disadvantages. Every time you entertain the thoughts that others are better than you, that is why they always get better than you. That is why they always have what you can't have. Every time you entertain and romance the idea that there's something fundamentally wrong with you, you are investing in your limitations. You are empowering your disadvantage, and you are refusing to take the owner's corner in your life's story. I have found this again and again and again to stand in the way of powerful people. You need confidence, and self-efficacy to make meaning out of your life. I'm telling you, I can confirm this one to you categorically. And look at this. The thing about confident people is not that they have all the answers or they have all the expertise, but they always believe that in the presence of any opportunity, confidence says, I will learn what I need to learn to take on this opportunity. That's the power of confidence. A confident person doesn't necessarily have everything they need to get where they're going. But a confident person says, I can find what I need to find. I can figure out what I need to figure out. I can learn what I need to learn, right? Because expertise is expandable. I can expand my expertise. I can grow my genius. Do you see this? So you may feel like your weak self-image, which hides itself sometimes under shyness and being the most quiet person in the room. You may feel like it's not obvious because you're just doing your thing and you're chilled and you're cool, but you know the war that is raging in your soul. You know the conflict that you carry everywhere with you. When you have a weak self-image, it means that you are allowing your past to determine your future. When you have a weak self-image, it means you are allowing what you don't have to stop you from maximizing what you actually have. Because what you need to know about humanity is we all have what we have and we all have what we don't have. And strengthening your self-image is really a matter of focusing on what you have and focusing on what you can build, what you can acquire, even if you don't have it yet. And if there's anyone listening to me who is a believer, then you even have a shortcut to fixing this limitation. Because the most powerful way to strengthen your self-image is to think about your source and to think about your manufacturer. If you hold God in such high regard, it means that you ought to hold His creation in high regard. The reason, and I don't want to start to say the things you already know, right? I don't want to start to sound like I'm just motivating you, but I want you to know that we have data that confirms that people with weak self-image will take less opportunities. People with weak self-image will not promote their vision correctly. People with weak self-image will not stand up for what they deserve. They will not negotiate correctly to give themselves an advantage. So you want to be CEO of your life, then you need to take care of your self-image. If you don't see yourself correctly, there are two books that I want to challenge you to go and read. One is The Search for Significance by Robert Mcgee. The Search for Significance, and I'm going to put it in the chat for you. The Search for Significance by Robert Mcgee is a book you 100% have to read. Battlefield of the Mind by Joyce Meyer is a book you have to read, right? So this I find to be a very popular limitation that so many people face, and it will stand in your way of really being able to move toward the kind of success you desire. The second limitation I'd like to address today is practiced indifference. Practiced indifference. Now, you may be actively in this particular space, but you may never have heard a name for it. And you may feel like, is that a problem? And it's actually a really big problem. What is practiced indifference? It is when a person has been disappointed enough that they stop caring. When a person has been hurt enough that they stop caring. And because they're trying to protect their hearts from further disappointments, further betrayals, further hurts, right? Further failures, they then say to themselves, I beg, I don't care. What will be, whatever will be, I don't care. So when you find yourself in a place where you stop dreaming, where you stop caring, where you stop desiring, where you stop chasing a goal, right? Where you're just so laid back because you're like, the last time I got a word and I ran with that word, nothing happened. The last time I served with all my heart and I gave my gifts to an institution, I didn't get promoted. I did a thankless job. I wasn't appreciated for it. The last time I started a business and I had these big ideas and I put some money into it, everything failed. The last time I dared to trust someone and build a relationship, I was very betrayed. So I beg, I beg, I beg. Let everybody just day their day. Let God today is day. All these prophetic words, I'm not interested. You can never go far in life without a beating heart. You can't go far in life without a burning pulse. This is one of the secrets of successful people. They have passion. They have passion. What is the concept of serial entrepreneurs? A serial entrepreneur doesn't win at every entrepreneurial venture, but they don't stop. He becomes a serial entrepreneur because he just keeps getting back into the ring. When he sees a great idea and he does his due diligence, he puts his money into it, he puts his time into it, he puts his equity into it, because for you to really hit gold, you're going to have some misses. You're going to hit some precious stones. You're going to hit some ordinary stones. But life is for the living. Life is for the living. You need a beating heart. You need energy. You need a burning pulse. You need passion. You need desire. You need to wake up every day and be like, look, I'm going for it. You need to desire conquest. We are too young to be indifferent. You know, some people are so frustrated by Nigeria that all their goal and anticipation is to just japa. I just need to get to Canada, get to UK, get to the US. And while they're here in Nigeria, they've become blinded to any opportunity in Nigeria because they're just like, what can this land give me? And you become indifferent. And let me tell you the thing about practiced indifference. When you practice indifference for a long time, your soul actually becomes numb. It becomes numb. When you practice indifference for a long time, your soul becomes numb. So there are some people who don't know how to be joyful. I see them all around me who don't know how to be passionate, who don't know how to be excited, right? On the outside, you may look like this chilled guy, but nothing is beating in your soul. You can never create remarkable success without something burning in your soul. Something must keep you up at night. Something must make you cry if you have to cry. Do you understand this? Something must make you put your ego aside, your pride aside, and send the email to say, I want to serve, I want to support, I want to partner. This is my proposal. Something must make you go to a conference and pay some good money just because you want to speak to someone who you hear is on the panel. That is passion. Do you see this? So there's so much practiced indifference, especially amongst those of us who live in developing economies, because developing economies do not yet have systems that work and enable your vision. So there'll be disappointments, there'll be misses, there'll be failures, right? But you can't afford to lose your fire. It is through fire that you can create fulfillment. It is through passion that you can create prosperity. You want to be at the sea of your life? Go and awaken your heart again. Go and awaken your heart again. And one of the most powerful ways to break out of practiced indifference is to put yourself in a community of passionate people. Soak yourself in a community of passionate people. Even if you run your own business, but you feel like your vision has really waned and your heart doesn't burn again, go and intern with another entrepreneur. Go and say, can I volunteer to support you? Can I come in once a week and do this with you? Belong to a community of passionate entrepreneurs. Your fire will come alive. It's a concept of, lighting a candle with another candle. Okay? Let's look at number 3 before we then get on to asking ourselves which ones resonate. Number 3, possibility blindness. Possibility blindness. You need to listen to me on this one. Have you noticed that wealthy people know how to spot opportunities in the midst of adversity? They know how to spot wealth in the presence of waste. They know how to spot prosperity in the presence of problems. The matter of seeing possibilities is a competence. You have to know that. It is a competence. If you're a person of scripture, you will see when God called Abraham and he said, look at the skies, look around you. He was just, lift your eyes. What can you see? And he said to him, I will give you as far as you can see. Same question to, I think it was Jeremiah, when God reached him and called him and he was like, what can you see? What do you hold in your hands? What can you see? You are going to get asked by life, what can you see? And what you can see is often what you're going to get. Seeing possibilities, having a sense of vision and being able to see opportunities around you is a competence that you actually have to grow. You have to learn it. You have to be mentored by those who have that kind of sight. Do you understand this? And you always have to ask the question, what good can come out of this situation? What good can come out of this experience? What good can come out of this market? And one of the most powerful ways to build your possibility sight is through research. The average African visionary does not research. But the more you read biographies and read autobiographies, the more you research into your industry and research into the market, the more you see the numbers and you see the shifts, you see what the data is telling you about your industry, your possibility sight begins to expand. You start to have a breakthrough vision. You start to say, wow, if we are so billion on the African continent and my market covers 32% of the market, or my industry covers 32% of the market, and I need just 2% of the market, that will give me as much as 1 million people, 2 million people. Why do I then feel like I can never have customers? You now start to change your questions to what kind of strategies do I need to put in place to place myself before the audience I really want to see? Exactly, Michelle. Throughout scripture, you actually see Christ modeling the power of seeing possibilities. You have to see possibilities. When you see many people, possibilities. When you see a need that people are complaining about, possibilities. When you see a regulation of government, possibilities. Do you understand this? When you see a particular genius or gift that you have and you do it with ease and people commend you for it, possibilities. Possibilities. I can speak for a whole year, every day back to back. It can never make me tired. In fact, it strengthens me. Possibilities. Do you understand this? So you have to heal from possibility blindness. What are the things that create possibility blindness? Hanging around negative people. The more you complain, the more you hear people complaining, the more you stop seeing the good that is around you. Right? Number 2, believing the media more than private revelation and private convictions. Just being gullible to see something on social media and not recognizing that media feeds off on an agenda. So some of the things that you see on news and you see in ads, they are behind an agenda and it's not the complete story. So you have to open your eyes again by revelation, by mentorship, by research. You have to open your eyes again. You want to be at the CEO seat of your life? You want to change your decision making? You want to take on powerful opportunities? You want to build your business? You need to see possibilities. You need to look at a small thing and see where it can go. This is a big limitation that I often find people struggling with. Let me go to number 4. When I get to number 5, I will take a scoring to see where you rate. Number 4, low accountability. This one, likely about 80 to 90% of us on this webinar are going to be likely victims of this particular one. Very low accountability. We hear and hear, read and read, attend events, conferences. We go from meeting to meeting. We make declarations, but we have very low accountability, right? And that's why there's very high indiscipline. Not anyone in your life who can call you to order. When you set goals, there are no people in your life that you can review them with every month or every quarter. You don't belong to any communities. You don't have coaches that you've paid and who will be on your matter to ensure that you succeed. A phase comes in your life and your leadership where you 100% need to pay someone. You need to pay them to keep you accountable. I'm telling you, how did we get a community of authors to release their books? They paid us between 500K to $1 million, right? 500K to 1 million is what authors in an author's hub, that's what I asked them to do, right? Pay that money. If you don't produce this book in the course of the allotted time, and we teach you everything you need to do to be able to get your chapters aligned, get the thoughts flowing, the number of hours you should put in every day. If you want to release a 200-page book in 3 months, a 400-page book in 6 months, based on your timeline, if that book is not ready by this time, you're not getting that money back. We had about 90% success rate. And the people that fell through, it was around someone was having a baby prematurely, somebody relocated with her family, and she had to really just rearrange her life. Somebody wasn't feeling too strong. Somebody had a delayed PhD. It was those kind of situations. And we said, we're not giving you the money back. When you're ready, come back again into the hub and get your results, get the book out. But we had about 90% success rate. People produced their books. They worked on it, and because 1 million is at stake, they worked on it. We let ourselves lose too easily. Eat anytime, sleep anytime, talk anyhow. You set goals, you don't go back to them. You don't belong to any community where you can be held accountable, right? And sometimes all you have to do is to repurpose your relationships. You already have friends that you gist with, you pray with, you go out with. You can repurpose that relationship and become an accountability circle. And we start to say, this is what I'm working on. Some of you have great goals, but what you have to know is you can't go alone. No matter how great your goals are, you can't go alone. You need support, or else you fall off the rack very easily, right? Let me tell you one of the most powerful ways that I create accountability in my life. When I have a vision, something I'm working on, or a product I want to create, I actually announce it to my community. I send an email about it. Hey, we're releasing a fashion line and we're having our launch April so time. I do that. And you already have people congratulating you. For example, I'm wearing one of the outfits in my own fashion line today. I bought it and I'm rocking it. And everywhere I go, I get all the compliments. We're launching a perfume line. It's going like so date. I almost lost my mind getting perfumes from the US web, manufacture them to Nigeria. So many hurdles. But I was not going to back down because I knew that I had a launch. People were waiting at that launch. People had pre-ordered that perfume. I had set up an accountability system that ensured that I must not fail. I called everybody I could call, to the point of getting someone to speak with the CEO of Delta Airlines to be able to get my perfumes into the country. Do you understand this? Things I would never have done if I just said, I want to do it and I will release it and I will announce it when it's ready. No. You have to lock yourself into accountability. Sometimes you pay ahead. I have people every year when I release my coaching programs, December of the previous year, they pay ahead for a program happening in April, a program happening in August. How did I get myself into Harvard? After applying and being selected, I paid ahead thousands of dollars. Thousands of dollars. It felt uncomfortable, but I paid ahead, locked myself into it, ensured, because I said, this is my own commitment to my growth. I can't be teaching senior executives and I'm not getting senior executive education. So our accountability Look at that. Hawa says, accountability is it for me. I had a goal to learn 2 books by March, but this is December. None is available yet. And what you'll find is the reasons may be valid, but accountability forces you to find a way anyhow. Anyhow. I'm telling you, I released a book. I've not even had time to announce it or talk about it. I released a book September of this year, and it was because people had pre-ordered it. I was in the US moving from city to city on speaking engagement, but I would still stay up late at night to work on the manuscript, to finish it, create workbooks. Got my team members working into the night. I was like, don't worry, when we're done, I'll give you bonus. And that's what I did. But get it out there for me first. If you have low accountability, your dreams will always be like a mirage. Your vision will always be like a mirage. It will be something you're chasing. Let me tell you what, it doesn't only matter that you achieve your vision, it matters that you achieve it in good timing. Because there's something called the early mover advantage. If you delay and delay and delay, people will take that same vision, it will enter their heart, they would execute it before you. When you are releasing yours, you may look like a copycat, though it entered your heart before them. Do you understand this? It's very, very, very serious. Without high level of accountability, your vision will always be like a mirage. And even if you accomplish it 2 years after, that you could have accomplished it way earlier, the market would have changed, the landscape would have changed, people would have entered the space before you, and you may even look like you're copying another brand. Do you understand this? So it's not just about achieving your goals, it's about when will you do it? When will you do it? Let's look at the 5th one. I want to be at the CEO seat of my life. I want to go further in 2025. I want to change my game. I want to fulfill my potential. I want to expand into new regions. I want to grow my career. I want to go back to school. I want to get that master's or PhD. I want to double up on my products and triple up on my pricing and my revenue. You then have to pay attention to these things. Number 5, learned helplessness. And it's after here, I would ask you, we will do a scoring, okay? We'll do a scoring, and I would request that the team give me a sense of how much time I have left so I see where I can take you. Let us talk about learned helplessness. Learned helplessness. This is a very, very serious but undercover attack against many, many people. I've seen it through coaching. What is learned helplessness? It is when you blame every other person and every other thing for what is not working in your life till you actually abdicate your power, till you lose your personal power to create change. Because what you have to know is every time you blame others, you lose a sense of responsibility. Every time you blame others, you lose a sense of accountability. Every time you blame others, you trick your mind into believing that there's nothing you can do to change the circumstance. That is how neural pathways work. Do you understand this? It's actually a whole concept psychologically. Every time you say, I had a part to play, there's something I could have done differently for this not to happen. Even when you don't feel fully responsible for it, you trigger your mind into saying, because I got myself into this pit, how can I get myself out? You are waking psychological responsibility. But every time that you make it about other people, you trick your mind into abdicating responsibility and you lose your personal power. You tell your mind not to think of a way out because you didn't cause the problem. Learned helplessness is actually something that we have data confirming happens to a lot of last bonds, right? Happens to a lot of last bonds. And it's something that happens to women a lot as well. Now, the interesting thing is women know how to be responsible for others, but they struggle with being responsible for themselves. And so they will blame their husband for not leading them enough, for not providing enough. They'll blame their children for taking all their time. They will blame, they will blame everything. They'll blame their hormones for them becoming fat. They will blame childbirth, for not having order in their lives. They will blame everything till they learn how to be helpless. They learn how to become helpless. Do you know how dangerous the feeling of helplessness is? It's a very dangerous feeling, because success begins when you feel empowered to do something that contributes to your success. Have you noticed that? Have you ever interacted with a wisdom that gave you an answer for how you can fix something, and before you've done anything about it yet, you're already happy because you healed your helplessness? You're already feeling happy, like, oh my God, I know what to do. That's the power of being in the driver's seat of your life. That's why people who are at the CEO seat of their lives, they actually experience this burst of energy. I can do something. The first time I learned to drive and I hit the road with my car, my God, I can't explain that feeling in words. But it's a concept of agency. That's what it's called. It's the principle of agency. Agency is to know in your heart that you can do something about your life. It gives you a sense of hope. But many people have learned to be helpless, blame their parents for not giving them the best education. Then do it for yourself now. You are still blaming your background when you have become someone else's background. The moment you start having children, you are now a background yourself, and you're still blaming your background. I have 3 children. My first is in junior secondary school, and she already refers to my husband and I, in a sense, as a background. She was giving a speech that won an award in her school, and she was saying, I'm thankful that I come from a wealthy background. I'm like, we're already background. Do you understand this? You can't afford to remain a victim in your own story. You blame the trauma you experienced, blame the parents who were absentee parents, the spiritual leader who you trusted and deceived you, a Nigerian economy, the first job you had, the boss who didn't treat you well, the exam you failed, the certificate you did, all these things. When are you going to take responsibility of your life and actually say, these are the things I have done wrong. This is where I have been weak. These are the choices I didn't make. These are the decisions I should not have made. These are the relationships that drained my positive energy. This is how my waking up late and oversleeping has wasted my time and wasted my opportunities. Do you understand this? Exactly. Michelle says it locks your mind into certain situations around your lineage. You keep thinking it's about your lineage. It's about your lineage. It's about the background. It's about the person you married. It's about the country you live in. You see this? A lizard in Nigeria does not become an alligator in the UK. I know people who travel to the UK and they're still broke, stressed, with the victim mentality, just like they had it in Nigeria. So take this first 5. Tell me the one that resonates, the ones that resonate the most, maybe the one or the ones that resonate the most, that you want to say, DDK, I've heard you. I want to go work on these particular ones because I believe that if I make the needed investment in this area, it will shift me into greater success in my life. Talk to me in the chats. Please don't use numbers. Use the words. I knew that would happen. Abidemi already said 1 and 4. I want you to write it out because it does something to your mind as well. Write it out for me. Low accountability. Weak self-image, low accountability. Low accountability. I also have weak self-image and learned helplessness. Okay? Low accountability is for me, weak self-image, low accountability. Well done. Low accountability, practiced indifference, possibility blindness. Low accountability is number 1, possibility blindness, and low accountability, learned helplessness, practiced indifference, weak self-image, and low accountability. Low accountability. Someone is asking mine. Okay, just saying mine has to be low accountability and learned helplessness. Okay, good job. I must work on possibility blindness. Okay, SIA, would you please write to me and let me know how many minutes I have more so that I can use it to share in the rest of my time with you before getting on to my next event after now. Okay. So let's see how much more we can run through, but I'm really excited. Fantastic. Thank you. So I'm really excited you're already looking at some of these limitations and you're able to say to yourself, something has to shift. I'm very happy. Let me run through the rest quickly in the time that I have left with you. So we're talking about a culture of excuses, a culture of excuses. We've talked about blaming others as the reason for things not working. When we talk about a culture of excuses, I'm going to show you something that is really powerful. An excuse, in the way that people think about it, they think that an excuse is always flimsy. An excuse is not always flimsy. I want to teach you something that I believe can really change the game for you in the way you move forward in 2025 with success and towards success. A culture of excuses happens to a person when the barrier of opposition remains the same for a long time. When the bar of difficulty remains the same for a long time, I really need you to listen to me, please. Because when you hear a culture of excuses, you can say to yourself, I don't give excuses. Because you think excuses are just flimsy things that people make up. No. In the matter of success, if after a while in your life, the bar or the barrier of difficulty continues to be the same, you have excuses. And what this means is, if it is the same things that stand in your way of achieving success, even if they are legitimate reasons, and they remain the same over a period, 2 years, 3 years, 5 years, they have become part of your culture of excuses. So I'll give you examples. Let's say you are in a career and you are working with a really difficult boss. Everybody knows that this boss is difficult, right? And because they're difficult, they really are frustrating your life. Your performance appraisal, no matter how hard you work, their standards are too high. They will rate you low in performance appraisal. When you ask for a leave, when you're really overwhelmed, they'll say, no, you can't go on leave. When you ask for an opportunity to attend a conference, they'll say, no, you can't go. Everybody knows that this is a frustrated, unmarried woman in her 50s, and she's really difficult. Year 1, she's really difficult. That's why your appraisal was low. Year 2, she's really difficult. That's why you've not been able to finish your ICANN because you don't have the Saturdays you need. Year 3, it's becoming an excuse. When something doesn't shift, you shift it. When something doesn't shift, you shift. The moment year 1, you had a difficult boss, you had a low poor appraisal. By year 2, you don't allow that same bar of opposition to remain the same. It has to drop. You have to start to ask yourself, how can I understand this difficult boss? How can I navigate my relationship with them in a way that it can give me an advantage in my career? Because your career is your career. Your own career is your career. You have to ask yourself, and it's not always about leaving. I will leave, I'll go to another institution. No, that may not always be your answer, right? The bar of opposition in the way of your success cannot remain the same for long. Even if that thing is legitimately difficult, you have to find a way to drop it. Do you see this? It's because of the estate, the neighborhood I'm living in. DDK, it's not conducive for praying. It's not conducive for meditation. It's not conducive for remote working. Our house is really small. The neighborhood is not appealing. So you are there. You are not yet able to move. You don't have the resources to move. How about you start to say, how can I recondition this atmosphere to favor me? What can I do with my interior decor? What kind of devices can I get to tone down the noise? How can I create a little office space? I know it's not a big house. I don't have a room to myself, but how can I get a nice chair, a nice background in the corner? Since I have this remote work, how can I stop looking like I'm a stressed, frustrated person on every call that I get to at work? Every time you're on a call, the moment your video comes on, How can I change the internet I'm using? You can't keep making it your excuse. You are always logged off every call at work. I'm sorry, my network is breaking. You need to shift that thing and stop letting it stand in your way. The moment the bar of opposition remains long on the way of success, you've not found your way around it. It is now your fault. So you live far and you say it's traffic, we've heard. Tomorrow, I'm sorry, the traffic is so much. Even if you live in Magboro and you work in VI, if you've made that decision, then you plan your life differently to arrive at work on time. It's your business. So you can't continue to say that a thing is a limitation. After a while, it doesn't make sense again. Some of you still have these anger issues. You still talk anyhow, right? You keep saying people don't understand you, but you are the decimal in every broken relationship. You are the denominator. You have 10 people who don't understand you. Is it not becoming clear you are the constant? Is it not time you start to say, what am I doing wrong? What am I doing wrong? The bar of opposition must not remain, it must drop. You must find your way around it. No matter how legitimate the challenges are. This is how you break your culture of excuses. Is how you break your culture of excuses. One of the things that I teach women, married women, and I know it's in a sense a bit uncomfortable sometimes when they talk to me about their husbands, he's not really supportive. I then start to say to them, how do you intend to succeed in the presence of the level of support you have? If your husband never changes, can we shift the focus from he's not supportive, he doesn't head the home, is not prayerful, he doesn't give us direction and vision? But single women succeed in the absence of a husband. How can you take the level of support you have and make it into what can work for you? How can you make it work somehow, right? It's never really about what is happening external. I know people go through difficult experiences, and my prayer is always that you will never have to face more than what you can bear, right? I know that people go through difficult experiences. We're humans, we've had our own share too. But you have to be really rugged, honestly. You have to make sure that you are not a fragile specimen. You have to be an agile specimen, agile. This is how you break your own culture of excuses and move your life forward. Number 7, low superpower leverage. And this is likely my favorite because I can explain it to you extremely simply. If you think all your gifts and talents and strengths are the same thing, you cannot achieve success quickly. If you look at even someone like the founder and executive chairman of this foundation, one of the things you notice about him is that across his organizations, he's leveraging his highest superpowers. He has a significant gift of making money work. He knows how to make money work. He has a significant gift of personal discipline and delayed gratification. He has a significant gift of perceiving the future and the kind of opportunity. Do you understand? And he's leveraging it. He's building he's not good at everything. But the things he's good at, he's building his vision in that direction. Nobody is good at everything, but you have to know the gifts that really stand you out. They are called premium gifts. My top 3 premium gifts is my ability to see the future, my ability to sell the future to people who can build with me, and my ability to speak to gain buy-in on any idea I have. Those are premium gifts, and I leverage them. Do you know I can also draw? But it's not a premium gift. I draw well. I can paint. But it's not a premium gift is the gift that allows you enter the future quickly, allows you achieve your vision quickly, allows you fulfill your destiny well. So what are your superpowers? If you don't leverage them and you only focus on what you studied in school, oh, well, this is just the job we find now. Maybe we just they go now. No, that's not how life works. Do you understand this? So you have to look at that. Michelle says, thinking ahead fast down any problems around us and always showing up no matter what. I love it. So if your superpower leverage is very low, you may struggle. You may struggle. You'll be gifted, but you may still struggle. So I'm going to put that in the chats for you now. I challenge everybody here to take this assessment, Gallup Strength Finder assessment. Then I want you to take Keris Mooney's personal archetype test. Categorically, Keris Mooney is free. Gallup Strength Finder assessment is paid for. You have to go and take this assessment, because until you get a PhD in yourself, you can never really leverage yourself for great success. So what are your superpowers? Put it in the chats for me before we continue to the last three. What are your superpowers that you know? What are the things that people talk about and commend you for, and you do it with ease? What are the things that help you achieve result? Are you very visionary? You are able to see the future. Are you able to spot opportunities? Are you able to connect easily with people? Are you a super speaker? Do you know how to manage resources excellently? Are you great at projects? Do you know how to stay calm under pressure? Is execution your superpower, right? My storytelling abilities, my ability to connect with people easily, my organization. Aha, you're talking to me. I can coordinate any kind of person, work with them with no problems. These are superpowers. Ability to plan for the future, to write and influence, to move as a go-getter. I can manage money. Yes, I'm a super speaker. I'm a great planner. I have teaching skills. I can spot opportunities. I can teach well. I can multitask. I'm able to organize. My God, look at that. My execution is my superpower. I'm detail-oriented. I'm an administrator. I can break down complex subjects into simple bites. Look at this. I execute projects. I can counsel. I can multitask. I can teach beginners and rookies. I can manage money. I can cast a vision. I can coach people well. I see opportunities in business. I'm great with finances, and I'm a great planner. Oh, my God, you're just talking to me. The next question becomes, how do you use these things, these gifts in everyday life, in your business, in your career, in your academics, in your marriage, in your home? How do you use them? If you don't use them, you won't look like you have them. You really want to go far in 2025, you must build your business, build your ministry, build your career around your strengths. By the grace of God, we've grown a really strong ministry. And I started as a really young woman. I've been in ministry for 21 years. And we've led a work in the city for 14 years as a young woman. But how did I do it? I know how to take myself from the center stage. I don't need to be in the limelight. Our work is backed up by a literal army in well-designated formations, military order. That is a gift. I know how to build systems. I do many things, but there's no chaos, there's no overwhelm. I understand systems and I leverage it. So if you don't leverage your superpowers, let's go to number 8 very quickly. Relational evasion, relational evasion, relational evasion. This is what happens when we've been hurt or disappointed by people, and then we start to stay on our lane. If you've ever said it, I beg, let me just stay on my lane. Let me mind my business and drink and sip coffee. People I don't trust. You've lost your trust. You've lost your commitment. You've lost your compassion. You've lost your heart for people. Even though you are in church, you belong to a kingdom community, but they'll never see you at cell meetings. They'll never see you at events. You're just always stepping back because you're protecting your heart. When you evade relationships, you evade prosperity, you evade growth, you evade opportunities, you evade feedback, you evade guidance, you evade advantage. Stop evading relationships. Heal what is broken and grow your perception. Do you need to be able to profile people correctly? Yes. Should you be in a relationship with everybody? No. But should you cut out everybody because you've been hurt? No. This has stood in the way of so many people I know. I've seen how my career, my business, my vision has prospered on the waves of being able to navigate relationships. And I'm not just talking about keep friends. I'm talking about keep different relationships where they ought to be. Some of us, we have many friends, but we still have an issue because we try to make everybody into friends. Whereas there are at least 10 strategic layers of relationships. There are those who are your collaborators. There are those who are influencers and crusaders. There are those who are donors. There are those who are confidants. There are those who are comrades. You see, different levels of relationships, but you are trying to make everybody into a confidant. You meet someone at work, you've told them all your secrets, right? Or you block everybody out and you say, just day your day. You need to know how to sponsor, steward relationships. You need to know how to show honor, how to reach out. You see this? You want to get into the CEO seat of your life? I'm going to tell you 3 things you have to do under this particular limitation. Number 1, you have to go and run a profiling of the 7 closest relationships in your life, because you will naturally look like the relationships closest to you. You want to go and do a relationship audit. And if you see that you are close to people who are going nowhere, you have to repurpose that relationship and step back. That's number 1. Number 2, you have to allocate correct weight to the relationships in your life. Where is this person? This is my mentor. This is a father. This is a consultant and an advisor to me. This is a board member. I need them in this way. This is a funder. This is an intercessor to me. You allocate weight and definitions to the relationships in your life. Then you're getting on the CEO seat. You're getting into serious business. People may not understand what you're doing, but you must understand what you're doing. And then number 3, you must start to have strategic conversations. As this year is closing out, if there are people who have been important to your success, you send them emails, you send them WhatsApp messages. As I thought about my year 2024, these are specific ways that you helped me. I thank you. I appreciate it. Let me know if I can support you in any way. As we go into 2025, these are things that I desire and I hope for from our relationship. You are now talking, right? Number 9, habitual mediocrity. People who just do average work. They don't put themselves, I beg, now my papa business. Average everywhere. People send me emails, poorly formatted, mistakes, didn't read through. People send me documents that has 3 fonts, 3 font sizes, errors everywhere. It confuses me. I never get it. How won't you be excellent and you really want to go far in life? How? How will you not be excellent? How will you not double check your work? Habitual mediocrity. People who make a habit of averageness. Mediocre talkers, mediocre workers, mediocre relators, mediocre networkers, mediocre professionals, mediocre entrepreneurs. You order something online, they say to be delivered in 3 days, 4 days after, you are the one reaching out back. Oh, sorry, the delivery man, his wife gave birth, he went to Oshogbo. Casually, we're working on it, ma. Mediocrity everywhere. Then you wonder how you don't go big. You go to some websites, error everywhere. They say, click on this link, it's leading somewhere. It leads nowhere. 404 everywhere. You want to be the CEO of your life? You've got to push yourself to the next level. People have to associate your brand with excellence. It doesn't mean we never make mistakes, but you need to build a consistency in excellence. And number 10 is over-emotionalism. Everything makes you angry. Everything makes you cry. You can't take it. You're the one they are talking about. People's gossiping about you. The person didn't greet you well. When you greet, they didn't answer you well. They think they don't know your age. You're not that young. You're not their mate. Why are people, you're crying about everything. You're talking about everything. You are gathering in corners, reporting matters. You are over-emotionalizing. If you don't greet me today, in fact, if I greet you and you don't answer me, you have to do it up to 10 times before it will dawn on me that something is wrong, honestly. Because my own mission is to greet you. I'm not that keen if you choose to answer or not. You are not in my inner circle. I see you at work. Good morning. Hope you had a great day. If you don't, I won't notice. Especially women, we over-emotionalize. And then for men, if your ego is too touched too easily, right? Do you know who I am? You have to overcome that, because some of the people you need for your destiny will not be nice to you. That's the truth. That's the truth. So you don't have to associate, people not being warm toward you to mean that you're not going to get to where you're going to get to. Let's run a scoring of the last 5 as I start to wrap this up. Let's do a scoring of the last 5. Tell me from 6 to 10, right? Okay, I over-emotionalize. Is there a book that can help me for over-emotionalization? Let me see, over-emotionalism. Let me see a resource I think would really help you. I think you can do Reclaim Your Soul. Yeah, that will work. Reclaim Your Soul by Dr. Cindy Trim. It will really help. Yeah. Do Reclaim Your Soul by Dr. Cindy Trim. Okay, so let's do our scoring 6 to 10. Which of these are you adding to your initial action plan and you're saying, I have to work on this more? I have to work on this more. Tolu says, I'm a victim of relational evasion. Solid question. For relational evasion, let me tell you the book. Thank you for bringing that up. Let me tell you what you need. You need relational intelligence. This book will transform your life. Even if you are doing well with relationships, go for it. Thank me later. Darius Daniels, Relational Intelligence by Darius Daniels. This is your book. This is your book. Culture of Excuses. Go back to that book that we knew before, that we read previously. If you haven't read it, you need it. 7 Habits of Highly Effective People by Stephen Covey is going to really help you with culture of excuses, low superpower leverage, okay? You're going to find them of great value. I also want to recommend, especially Deep Work. This book will transform your life if you want to operate at new levels of excellence. Deep Work by check that out, okay? Culture of Excuses, Low Superpower Leverage is what you're working on. Culture of Excuses coming up a lot. Well done. Good job. Well done, well done. Relational Evasion and Over-Emotionalism. You will find relational intelligence very valuable, and you'll find Reclaim Your Soul very valuable for over-emotionalism. I thank you so much for allowing me share moments with you today. I'm actually at the studio in at Channels TV, and I do have to go. I'm getting all these signals like we're about to get into the studio. So I'm happy to take a question or two, but thank you so much for having me at this month's webinar. And now I want you to talk to me about, share some feedback with me about what you found most striking, or what you enjoy the most, or what you're taking away as your strongest lessons from this session. Thank you. Thank you so much for your kind feedback.
I think we should allow someone to talk, and maybe you should just give Michelle a chance. So Michelle, please keep it very short, 20 seconds. Thank you. So Michelle, you can unmute.
Okay, thank you very much for the time. I do really love, this topic has been this webinar it's quite amazing. Sometimes we think that we know everything, but the truth is that we don't know anything until we find out some things that we don't know about. Thank you so much. I do really appreciate it. I think I really want to, emphasize more of the emotional, over-emotionalism. I think it has been a part of many CEOs, including me. When you emotionalize everything around you, especially your staff and everything, you don't know how to separate them. So I really need something that would help in having such kind of book that someone can read. I think you said some, I dropped it, and I also like you to drop some of the books in the chat also so that we can have access to it. It really helps us. Thank you very much.
Well done. Solid feedback. And yes, I agree that we do struggle sometimes with over-emotionalism. The reason it's tough to speak about just basic recommendations for how to overcome over-emotionalism is because you have to treat it in the context that it applies to. That's why. You have to treat it, if you're over-emotionalizing in business, you have to treat it by flipping the script to say, what is making me over-emotionalize? How can I teach people to act differently? How can I build a system of performance? So you have to know what you're looking for. And that's what now empowers you to be able to get the kind of results you want to get in that area. But start with reclaiming your soul, and is going to be definitely a game changer for you.
Okay. Thank you so much for that. Thank you, Michelle, for that question. Then I'm going to allow Tolu. Tolu will be our last person, that will be allowed to talk on this session. Tolu, 20 seconds, please. Okay. You can unmute.
Okay, thank you. Sorry, my name is not Tolu. My name is Shalom. I don't understand how So what I want to talk about, I want to really thank her. It just reflected what I've been facing personally. And this period because I attended the VLC 2024 and into the program with, she had with Mr. Fella. And I was just beginning to see some mindsets I need to really uproot. And these 10 things that she shared with us has really, knowing that someone has been in this shoe before and has come out of it gives more courage to really tackle the issues that I've been facing. So as she was speaking, my heart was really on fire. I was even stating my action plans and trying to put things together to make sure that this doesn't just end in my notes. Yes, I want to really practice it and see what can come out of my life by practicing it. So thank you so much, Ma.
Great. Thank you so much, Tolu, for that feedback. Thank you, everyone. We've actually gone way past the time that we're supposed to have the session. Is DDK still with us? Thank you so much, Ma, for honoring this invitation. We're so blessed. I was just discussing with Mr. Adeyinka. I said, truly, you're an apostle in the marketplace, because at this point, I just see the gift of utterance at play. Like, things are just being uprooted in people's minds. Like, mindsets are being changed. We want to truly thank you. Thank you for this opportunity. This is a message we need to listen to over and over again. I'm sure you didn't even have time. We didn't have time to catch up. There was just too much to learn. So I want to join everybody. We're going to make this video available on YouTube. We're going to share the link with you. Also a summary of what we've learned today, the books that have been recommended, all of that will be shared with you via email. Just make sure that you are registered with us so you can get that information across. But another thing I want us to do, which is very important, we need to honor our facilitator. So I want you to go online on Instagram, on LinkedIn, on Facebook, share the lessons you learned. Share the lessons you learned from this session and prepare a thank you message for our coordinator. Tag us, tag the SIA Foundation, tag Mrs. Debola Deji Kurunmi, tag them. Let them see how important what was shared today, how important it is to you. Okay, so I enjoin you to do that. We'll be looking forward to seeing your messages, to see the tags and all of that. So like I said, this is a message you need to listen to over and over again. And this is coming at a very good time. It's the end of the year. You don't just go into 2025 blindly. You go in with plans, you go in with goals, and you have nuggets that you can leverage on. Okay, so for some of us, I know you joined in the middle of the session. You can also partner with us. You can support what we do at the foundation. We have 4 strategic areas in the space. We do stuff around education. We do stuff around increasing the entrepreneurial drive amongst youth in Nigeria and across Africa. We also do a bit on female empowerment and also the creation of empathetic work environment. So if you have anything, if you have projects going on in that space, things that we can work on together, please feel free to drop us an email at info@siafdn.org. So at this point, Mr. Sola Adeyinka, are you available? Would you like to come on now? Okay. Then one more thing before we leave, I would like to invite our supporters, Vale NG. I'd just like them to come on board, to just say, a few things to us this afternoon. Natasha, are you here? Or Tolu? If you are here,
Hello.
just raise your hand.
Hello, do you want me to? Okay.
Okay. Oh yes, Mr. Adeyinka, please carry on.
Okay, thank you so very much, DDK. I think that was just mind-blowing. That was just transformational. Honestly, I felt like saying, DDK, I'm registering for a coaching class after this. So let's discuss it. It was just so powerful, and I hope every one of us really paid attention to those things. And honestly, some of us we need to really register for a coaching class, and I'm telling you, because mindsets are not things that it's easy to just uproot. You don't just listen to it. Mindsets they are built over years, our background, our experiences in our childhood, some things our parents told us, some things a friend told us in secondary school, in primary school, and all of that. Now we're in our, the years where we should be manifesting, and these things are holding us back. So you need to really be intentional to deal with mindsets, like I was joking with someone recently about, how a lot of people fear rejection. Rejection, and when you can't stand rejection, you're not going to go far in life because it's just a stronghold in you. You don't want people to say no to you. And in this life, people will say no to you. The only day people stop saying no to people is when they die. So far, you're among the living. People will say no to you. You understand? And that can actually be a mindset that you need to really say, how do I, handle rejection? So things like that. So I want to encourage you, you need to read, you need to consistently commitment. If I want to summarize everything DDK spoke about today, is commitment to your own life goals. What it means to be the CEO of your life is to say a commitment to say, this is what I want to achieve in life, whatever it takes. If I'm going to register for a coaching class with DDK, if I'm going to read some books, if I'm going to go online, pay for a course, if I'm going to pay for some of those assessments. When she was telling us some of those assessments, because some of them are paid for, some of us already say, I'm not going to do it because I need to pay for it. Man, then you're not ready to grow. It's commitment. You're going to have to commit, the same way you are committed to say, okay, I need to buy a new shoe, I need to buy a new phone, I need to make my hair, I need to do my nails. Yes, you are also going to have to pay for your growth. DDK, thank you so much for coming today. And for every one of us, I want to encourage you, please follow SI Foundation. We are on LinkedIn. Please, you can post all the handles. We're on Instagram, we're on Twitter. Please follow us. It's important so that you can get the updates from us. Anytime we're doing any of these events, you can be part of it. I think there's an event we're doing in 2 weeks' time for the strategy session for 2025. We need a lot of people don't have their strategy session set out yet. Especially for SMEs, small business owners. We put together something with a strategy consultant, a top strategy consultant. I know that most people, if he decides to give you an invoice, you will not pay. You understand? But we'll be able to use our own relationship to get him to come in and say, okay, how do we ensure that people have great plans for next year? So thank you very much, everyone. And Mudupe, over to you. Thank you.
All right. Thank you very much, Mr. Adeyinka. Thank you, everyone. So I think we can call it a wrap, except if I'm able to find a representative from Vale. So if you know you're a representative of Vale and you're on this call, okay, I think, is that Tolu or Shalom?
This is Tolu. Good afternoon.
Okay, so this
Please,
is the Tolu I've been looking for. Yes.
I'm so sorry. I truly apologize for the mix-up. To everyone that probably is being identified as Tolu Uduebo, I sincerely apologize. You do well to re-register so that we can have your information and then you don't miss out on the materials, resources, and links that will be shared. So please, if you're on this call and you did not register, you just joined with the Zoom link that was sent to you, please do well to re-register. Thank you so much, SIA Foundation, for the opportunity that we've been given to just support on this webinar. It has been very insightful. My notes are full. I've taken so much notes on what to do, actions to take. And I mean, like Modupe has rightly said, my name is Sola Adeyinka. I represent Vale Finance Limited. And, our speaker has spoken so much about, predicting our future by creating it. At Vale, we believe that, taking charge of your life begins with taking charge of your finances. It is very, very important. And we position ourselves as the digital bank for individuals and businesses that provides you the tools that you need, the solutions that you need to manage your money, to achieve your goals, to unlock your full potential. So, I mean, your finances play a very huge role in becoming the CEO of your life. Like our speaker rightly said, in your expenses, the way you spend, the way you plan, the way you budget, everything, it ties into becoming the CEO of your life, going into the driver's seat of your life. So please connect with us. You can visit our website, www.vale.ng, or our business website, business.vale.ng. I'll drop it again in the chat box. You can just read up about us. You can download our mobile app. It's available on iOS, it's available on Android, and you can create a free business account, and we have so many tools, like I said, so many solutions for you to just get into that position where you are unlocking your full potential, where you are earning, where you are getting daily interest, where you are investing safely, right? And then, you can begin to maximize your potential. So yeah, thank you very much for the opportunity again. Like I said, Vale Finance Limited, the bank that truly pays you, www.vale.ng. Over to you, Modupe. Thank you, everyone.
All right, thank you. Thank you very much, Tolu. So I don't think we should hold anyone back right now. We're done with this session. Like Mr. Adeyinka had earlier mentioned, we have a specialized masterclass coming up in 2 weeks, right? So it's on how to prepare better for 2025. We will share the details with you. We'll share the details with those that have registered for this session in case you want to be a part of that session as well. So at this point, I want to call it a wrap. Thank you all so much for joining. Have a lovely, lovely Friday. And I wish you the very best. And don't forget to connect with us. Don't forget to go on your social media channels to drop your thank you messages, the lessons you learned, tag us. You have our handles, tag us on all platforms, tag the facilitators. We would love to read your messages and to hear from you. All right, thank you. Have a great day ahead. Yes.